Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely...
Man, thank goodness. uNrekt.
What's up,
G'day.
folks?
No, 43.
It's,
How are you, mate?
43
Another
AG
episode of
here,
the HEX Late Show.
uNrekt
On the
Pyrate
internet.
here on the internet.
Here we
It's the
are.
HEX Late Show. We are here.
Yep.
We are here on
Awesome, mate.
a Tuesday night in
Flying start.
Australia. What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
What is
Oh,
happening?
mate. Oh, lots and lots. I don't know where to start. I mean, just, I guess, shout out to the chat. We've already got our regulars showing up, looks like. And, yeah, hoping we've got a few absentees this week. We've had a few apologies from the crew. But, look, mate, we've got, if it's just us, that'll be great because we can just I guess talk turkey on HEX and PulseChain, because I heard a rumor that PulseChain is not far away now.
I don't think it's
I
far.
don't know.
Just judging by how much you can do on testnet and how well it works. Have you had a chance to jump on the testnet and play around?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I have. Yeah. I've been using the. I'm very interested in the liquidity pools and the been providing liquidity and entering in the earn on the PulseX, going into the pools and going into the pools and farms. So yeah, I'm a Ridgy-Didge yield farmer now on Pulse, and if the numbers on testnet equate to the real world, well, I'll be doing all right. I'll be making bank. How about that?
I don't know. I mean, look, I wouldn't pay too much attention to the numbers on testnet personally. I think that
Exactly, it's all play money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey
Here
guys.
he is,
Hey mate,
Mr. Bluey.
good top of the
Hey, guys.
morning
Should
to
we do
you,
the
brother.
crack?
Yeah.
I want to crack one. There we
Oh
go.
yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
How you going, Bluey?
Yeah, not too bad.
How's
Good
life?
actually. It's really fun.
Sparkling
Having
sparkling water I'm drinking. No alcoholic. Sparkling water.
fun. Congratulations.
Pineapple and orange.
You're doing better than me.
I've been having a few big
I don't
nights
mind a drink.
actually.
Oh, you look like it, bro.
Yeah.
You look like
Bit
it.
of partying in Bogota.
What are you doing, mate?
Nice.
Mate, we went to the wildest fucking party the other night. Oh fuck! It was
Who's
so many
we?
people were there. It was ridiculous. Like,
Who's
like
we?
it was outside of the city and at
Name
this
names.
place. And it's like fucking just there's this massive restaurant, but there's like bands and partying and like just it was full on. Yeah,
Sounds like fun times, mate.
yeah,
Fun times. Live it up.
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Well, yeah, I had a
So
party
we're just
here.
talking-
Yes, I had a party last night, and some chick left the whip behind.
Nice one, mate. I hope you got put in your place.
It's inevitable.
Hey, what's on the end of that
When
whip?
you-
Mate, can you show me?
I
what's
got
on
it.
the
Yeah, I
end
got a
of that
good
whip?
hiding with it too. She gave me a flogging with it. She's like, and then she wanted me to hit her, and then she's like, harder. It's like anyway.
Nice. Very nice, mate.
It's school holiday, so what else are you supposed to do? Play cards?
That sounds dodgy as. What if you
That's
got a
like
school?
probably roll off the tongue very well, did it? No,
No.
that's all right.
Are we live now? Are we?
Yeah, we're live.
I thought it was
Dude.
pre-show. All right.
But yeah, no, it's all.
No, man. No, we are live. We didn't wait for anyone. We're just like, it was like 9:31 or 9:32, and we're like, looks like
Yeah.
it's you and me,
Keep it
uNrekt.
simple.
Let's go live.
Keep it simple.
You know how long it's been since uNrekt and me have just like, or even just us three, you know?
Just shot the shit. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's been ages and ages. But I have a clip that I want to play. So why don't we listen to that, and then we can maybe break it down and see what the guys in the chat, the guys and gals in the chat think, and we can just, you know, throw in our 2 cents.
You're going to raise the prices of everything by just doing helicopter money, printing it like it's a joke. And then you're going to tax everybody when the prices go up. You're going to tax them on unrealized gains. Hey, we printed all this money, so your money ain't worth nothing no more. And because the fake value went up, because the fake number went up, we're going to tax you on that number going up now. So you unrealized capital gain on your house went up. It didn't really go up in value. If you sell your house to buy another house, it costs the same. You didn't get 2 houses. Your house didn't go up, and now you could buy 2 houses. No, your house went up, and everybody else's house went up, and now you could just swap sideways is all you could do.
Yeah.
You didn't actually gain no value. We're going to tax you. So first we steal the value of your money, then we tax you on what we stole. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I know. I think they're just pulling out every trick in the game at this point. It's just like, what's the alternative? It like goes bust.
Well,
right?
I know what you don't vote for that is what
Yeah,
so if I see you attacking crypto, you don't get my vote. I see you trying to steal my money, you don't get my vote. I see you restricting my freedom of movement, you don't get my vote. I see you restricting my freedom of speech, you don't get my vote.
Just going to pause it there for a second. That's pretty interesting. Those comments, especially from our perspective in Australia, and you know, bear with us, all the international viewers. We've got a year of elections in Australia. We have federal elections that have been called for, I believe it's May, like I think it's the 21st of May in Australia. So that's a federal election. And then later on in the year, I know, at least in Victoria, where the state that I'm from, we've got a state election as well. And I can see in the chat someone saying that they've got elections in New Zealand this year as well. So this is very, very
right now. In France
Have
right
they got
now.
them oh, that's
they've got their
true.
Presidential elections, yeah.
Yeah.
Have I run you through my political platform for the upcoming election?
Go on.
Since we're on the subject, well, I think that they should dissolve Parliament, and just because it's all broken and the country's nearly virtually unmanageable, they should basically dissolve cabinet and give it back to First Nations people and get the Aboriginals to run the country. Give them a Guernsey. It's because they couldn't do any worse, could they?
I'd vote for that.
Give them
I'd
a
vote
chance.
for that in a
Country.
heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, hey? I reckon they should.
For sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, the choices. What choices do you have in Australia, really? It's like, what are you going to vote for?
This is true. This is true in any like Western democracy.
Idiot or dickhead, you know. And if it's not one of the two majors, then everyone's just going to disperse all of their, you know, independent votes or whatever.
We do. Just remember, we have 2 houses. We've got the House of Reps, which for us is the low. I don't know what you guys call it in the US, but it's the you know, the House of Representatives, and then we've got the Senate. So the idea is that you've got Senate as Senate as the check and balance, right? So we should be looking for you know, who are the Senate candidates, like who is there and what are they offering, what's their platform, you know. I would love to see. I should probably go to the you know, the electoral website, the Electoral Commission website, and see if there's any like crypto crypto parties or anything like that, or any parties that support that sort of thing, because I think we probably want to get in touch with them and find out what their platform is and what they believe in. You'd have to think that if they're a crypto party, that they would be somewhat aligned with our beliefs and values. But let's go back to the clip. I mean, do you guys want to add anything else?
No, that's right. Let's just stick to Richard Hart, what he's talking about there. I think
let's go back to the clip.
But have you heard any politician talk about crypto in any kind of like meaningful way?
I heard Josh Frydenberg, your buddy from high school. He mentioned, and they've gone dead silent on this. He mentioned that they've got a new raft of like a package that's specifically relating to that. So I don't know if they're going to wait until after. I'm not sure if you can hear that. My daughter's crying in the background, but yeah. Can you hear that?
No.
It's a mic. It's a good mic. It filters out baby sounds.
There we go. Blinking Bill. Why not? We should have some characters running the place. More entertaining.
Let's go. People don't want to hear. They want to hear Richard finish off what he's saying.
So I seen a dude, Bruce Fenton, libertarian guy, had him on my stream, did a little bit of arguing, but his intentions are good. He was wrong about net neutrality, but his intentions were good. I hope he wins his seat in New Hampshire for Senate. I hope every crypto person understands that you cannot solve politics with technology, and we do actually have to play politics to win some of these battles. And we just lost one in the EU, a big one, and it's irritating. And it's like, I haven't been playing that game. I've been playing the build stuff game, and other guys that like, look, man, Winklevi twins, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase. These guys need to spend some of the billions to save the other billions from getting regulatory wrecked. And they've been in this game for a long time, made a lot of money, spend it on some lobbyists, man, because otherwise you're about to get regulated poorly. The EU took a hit. There's a lot of people to live there. So my advice would be like, if you don't like that crypto regulation, you might have to leave the EU. That's how it is. I know a couple loopholes, maybe. I could teach people how to transfer value without sending coins. I got some other tricks I ain't going to tell you about. I'm going to let them shoot themselves in the foot first so they can't counteract the counterplay. But like, it's...
Did you guys pick up on that?
They can't counteract the counterplay.
No, he said he's got a couple of tricks.
He's got tricks
for transferring value. Did you guys pick up on that?
Yeah, I heard him say that.
What's that about?
I'm so curious about that. I want to know these tricks. But he's like,
well,
I can't.
The value of the
he wants them to regulate, and then once they regulate and put it all in place, then he lets the cat out of the bag, and
they can't counteract the counterplay. That's
he's not. It's not that they can't counteract it. It's just that because he knows that regulation is so slow moving, that if they go to all this time and effort to put these regulations in place, and then he comes up with a loophole, like a workaround, then it's going to be ages before they can go another round of correcting the legislation to counter that. So it's not that it can't be countered; it just can't be countered quickly.
Yep.
I see things going wrong in the news so much it makes me want to grit my teeth, and I can't get around to it. I gotta do PulseChain, fiat on-ramp, wallet. Then we're talking medical research some more, politics, start your own country. These things, they come next.
I think one of the biggest.
Bro, hang on.
What was the last one?
He's going to create his own country.
Dude, he threw that into that list of things like,
On the
oh
list.
yeah, I'm just scratching my ass and creating another country. Like he threw that in as if it's just some regular thing that you just do in your spare time while you're eating some fucking leftover noodles or something. I don't know, but like that is like big. That's a massive thing to have in your list of things to do. Wouldn't you say? Like start a new country. He actually said in another part in that stream something along the lines of special economic zones, which I think is a brilliant way of going. Special economic zones within a country or potentially within countries. Because if something works in one country and then you've got like hexagons who are behind it, but then you've got another country with hexagons, then they can lobby politicians and say, hey, look at this shit over here. Look how well that special economic zone over here worked. We should do that here. It's working over there. Let's do it here and bring prosperity here. So I think that's a brilliant plan. I mean, I know it's early days, but in my mind, I don't think you start a country on an island from scratch. And, you know, I think of Lord of the Flies. I think of like getting there and not having anyone to do anything. Like, you know, who's going to do the work if you go to an island? Who's going to do it, man? You want somewhere where they've already got infrastructure. All the hard shit is already there in place, and then you just improve it. Like you make it better.
I agree with him that trying to do it offshore or on an island or on a rig or some kind of seasteading thing is just a nightmare for the practicalities of living life. It just doesn't, you know, you'd have to be so committed to that cause, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, he's at the cutting edge, isn't he? He's certainly on the leading edge of all that stuff. And I like the airdrop, the largest airdrop in history on the PulseChain, and the fact that when you receive that airdrop, the coins will be the tokens will be valueless, and then the market will start from there. So essentially, he's given all the users a solid on the tax front right at the start. I believe there's some sort of tax implication for having airdropped something that doesn't have a value at the start.
Yeah. Well, it just means that you're not paying. Like, if you get an airdrop that's worth something, then you're paying tax on that.
Yeah, but it just means you're deferring that.
Liability.
But it just means you're deferring that cost.
Only when you sell, but you have a choice. At that point, you have a choice. Like if you sell something in future, how much you sell and how much it's like you can decide before the taxable event what the taxable event is, which is quite handy, you know.
Yeah, and it means you don't have to sell your crypto to meet that taxable event.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think one of the best legal challenges that Richard already mentioned was one where he said, technically, you don't hold your crypto. There's no such thing as a custodial wallet. The crypto is always on the blockchain. It's just you and potentially a million other people have the password that accesses it to let you move it around. So these legislation, they're almost certainly going to F it up and write it as if it is this thing that you hold. And then if you got a sick lawyer to just come in and be like, bro, that's not even how it works. Expert witnesses out the yin yang. So, and then you would just be like,
but tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong about this, right? But the way that like cryptocurrencies work is you have this private key, right? And you're basically assuming that because probabilities are so low that somebody else happened to get that, like somebody else happened to
no, you don't even need to rely on that though. No, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
This is important.
No. That aspect doesn't matter because you could have knowingly given that password to a bunch of other people. It doesn't matter.
Even if you didn't, what my point is,
they don't need to guess your password.
No, my point is, even if they didn't, you're just because it's all based on probability, you're just assuming that nobody else knows that private key. Yeah, somebody else could have just gone bang and gotten the exact same private key as you.
Yeah,
that is possible, but the likelihood is so low that's why
it's actually not that low. Can I tell you why it's not that low?
Dude, it's
listen.
Low. It's low as shit.
Hear me out. Why it's not that? It's not that low if you're using good software. But if you're using shitty software to generate that private key,
you mean it is low if you're using good software?
it is extreme. Like
you said it's not that. You said it's not
Oh,
that
yeah,
low if
I
you're using
must
good
have
software. You
misspoken.
meant it the other way around. It is
Yeah,
low.
yeah,
It is tiny.
sorry, excuse
it's
me.
effectively
Yeah.
zero. Yeah.
Yeah. However, if you're using shitty software to generate your private key, that software might be so shitty in generating private keys that it's just generating a whole lot of private keys that could be, could end up being the same.
Copied.
Yeah.
Really
Look,
shitty.
there's an assumption there that you're not using like.
The point is, right? The point is that you have that you actually don't have possession of your crypto. Your crypto is in a public database that everybody can see. All you have is a knowledge that there is a possibility, no matter how small it is, that somebody else has as well.
Yeah, that's his point, but that's not his only point. Like, as in, you don't need to worry about these probabilities. It's not about the probability of someone accidentally having your keys. It can be deliberate as well. That's my point. It's the challenge or the I think. Do you guys get what I'm saying? The challenge that you're putting up there is that the ownership is not under your control. It's like
we're saying the same thing. We're splitting hairs.
Yeah. I think we're basically saying the same thing.
You are saying the same thing actually, because
we actually are
in the legacy system, you've got a third party that's independently verifying who the person actually
the key.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's
43.
not in crypto.
Yes.
I just want to throw this out to Molly in the chat. We appreciate you, wanting us to stop arguing, but let me just tell you that is an important element of our show. That's pretty much what we do on this show, just argue with each other the whole time. So
we've tried, like giving each other more space. It's just very, very difficult for us, Molly.
Yeah, we
question. Can I ask a question? I heard that. Is it true, Mr. Tangent, since you've left Telegram, did you delete have you pulled down your YouTube channel on that?
Yeah. At the moment, it's gone.
News about FinFlutes or whatever it's called.
I might start it up again.
Talking about financial products.
Yeah. I might open it back up again. It's down at the moment.
Well, that's like
Jexxa had
years of your life nearly.
Okay.
Hey, you obviously feel strongly about that.
Look, I find that most content in crypto is very time specific.
Time sensitive.
Like, I don't imagine, like, people, like several people did tell me that they were going back through my old videos for the lols. They just wanted to go and see like what crazy stories I told and just funny shit. But in terms of like the crypto side of it, going back to old videos, you're not going to actually get any real cryptocurrency value out of those older videos. So I just didn't think it was that big a deal. I just wiped it. And I'll just start again if I decide that the risk is low enough. I mean, I've been going pretty balls out on other people's channels, just repetitively saying that everything I do is financial advice. I'm trying to take the sarcasm level to such a degree.
That was the funniest thing, right? You take your channel off thing because you're afraid of ASIC or whatever. Then you go on a steak and bake, get wasted, and start giving out financial advice.
But if they're gonna do anything, they're gonna do it on your channel. Like if you're on someone else's channel and it's a steak and bake, like seriously, who the fuck is listening to financial advice from a bunch of people?
It's a good point that on my own channel they can go to Google and go, what phone number is this channel linked to, right? And then they can find me if they subpoena Google. But if I'm on someone else's channel, it's a little bit safer because if you're using a pseudonym like I am, and the channel doesn't belong to you, it would be quite a few steps involved for them to find out who you are.
The point is that ASIC is meant to have oversight of securities anyway. So they got
a lot of people have been saying that they're like, don't worry about it. It doesn't include crypto, but I mean, it doesn't include crypto yet. Like there's still a risk there,
The Australian government is so fascist at the moment, and it's like heading even more so. That's the real kind of. It's not about what they supposedly legally can do; it's what they're willing to do, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you might have to challenge it. Like it's what you need to. We need to challenge things.
Just take them to the cleaners through the courts, I
actually,
they've got they've got plenty of money. Do you know what I mean? Like do you know what's? It's almost like the the husband who's divorcing his wife is paying for her lawyer and his own lawyer. So when you take, like, if you're going to fight that in court, your taxpayer dollars are paying
for both
their,
sides of it. You're paying for
you know
one
what I
side,
mean?
and your
Like,
tax
it's
dollars are
like
paying
you're
for the other. Yeah.
yours, and then your taxpayer dollars are paying for.
Do you want to hear something really scary? That because I used to be a bit balls out, like, all right, bring it. Like, I can afford a lawyer. I can afford sick lawyers. Like, bring it on. On the Bitcoin conference, there was a guy saying it's very, very dangerous to get into leading litigation, like so litigation of things that have not been really done before in the courts, because the outcome of your case sets a precedent that others can point to. So if you go in half-assed because you think you're a big man and you want to go in there and like whip your dick around and be like, oh, this cryptocurrency bitch, you can't touch my shit, and you fail, then you're fucking up everyone else. So I was like, okay, that has made me a little like respect a little bit more to not just go off like, yeah, I can afford a legal battle. Let's bring it. You know, you want to be damn sure and have the right lawyers who are going to attack in the right way so that you don't set like crap precedents for everyone else.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, dude. That's a really, really good point. On the weekend, there was a UFC 273, and I caught this at the end of the at the press conference afterwards, and I thought it was really interesting. I'd never heard this before at the UFC.
Yeah, and then the crypto performance of the nights, they're still tallying the results, but Lene will let you guys know when that comes out. Those guys get $60,000 in Bitcoin.
I guess with
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, how's that? So the UFC are now
epic.
they've got like a fight of the night, and it's given out $60,000 worth of crypto. So they're going to get like one and a half, like they're going to get 1.5 Bitcoins, roughly. You know, that's
tight.
Because they're being sponsored by Crypto.com. That's why. That's their sponsorship deal.
Right. But it just shows you that.
And you got a whole lot of UFC fighters all over that other MRI or whatever, and they're giving that out. They're voting. They're getting people to vote on which fighters to give it to and stuff. And
you know, there's a Bitcoin maxi. I don't necessarily agree with this, but there's a Bitcoin maxi who says you should never give any Bitcoin to people who don't want it, like who don't want it badly enough to pay for it themselves. Like, i.e., never gift Bitcoin. He's like, that is a dumb idea because they'll either sell it or F up the storage of it. So you're either going to have lost Satoshis or market dump.
It's not a bad point. I've actually given away crypto and that person has not known what is like, yeah. And they haven't kind of got back to me and say, what do I do with this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, but they had an Ethereum donation address.
Oh, well, if they've got a donation address, they should know what they're doing, right?
Yeah, but it's just sitting there and they haven't done anything. And I've emailed them and they haven't got back to me. And it was a bit of money as well. But yeah.
I wanted to donate to one of the privacy channels. These two young guys that do a really, really good job. I shill their shit on Twitter all the time. Tech Law and New Oil. And I wanted to donate to them, but the only crypto that they were accepting was Monero. And man, I was like, all right, well, I'll just grab some Monero and send them that. And it was like, it's being delisted off like everywhere.
It's straight.
So like none of the exchanges that I have had Monero. And I was just like,
get it off the bridge, man. You have to like.
I think yeah. Can you atomic swap Bitcoin into Monero now? Did they do that shit?
I'm not sure. I think that there used to be. Remember was it XMR2, XMR.2? Remember that?
Yeah, there's like wrapped versions of Monero.
Do you remember that website XMR.2?
Oh, I don't. Sorry.
No.
And then you could just turn Monero into Bitcoin. Remember
that must be what I'm talking about, because I did hear they were working on like some atomic cross swap shit. But anyway, let's talk about HEX instead. Let's hand out some financial advice. That's what this channel's about, right?
Hey,
am I on the wrong channel? So I did the same on Crypto Gym Rat, and I did it on the Stake and Bake. I'm just, every channel I go on, I'm just going to be like, yay, financial advice.
Isn't everything financial advice? Like if you say, oh, I ate this really beautiful apples, you should go buy these apples. Isn't that financial advice?
I love the one. Freddie came up with this one. I think it was Freddie, or was it Jim Rat? No, it was Jim Rat. He was like, I said something that I said, look, this is financial advice. It was nothing to do with finance. And he was like, actually, that is financial advice because it's going to save you a butt ton of money on lawyer fees later, like, or something like that. And so you are similar to what you're saying, that theoretically everything eventually comes back to money, right? Like, as in,
well, everything is valued, can be valued in money. So it's
exactly
financial.
Exactly.
So, and the same with these cryptos. Like, so they're just like buying apples, really.
Yeah, in a way, you're right.
HEX is like buying apples.
In a way,
HEX is remarkably like buying
HEX
apples.
is like buying seeds.
No, it's like buying apples.
Yeah.
It's remarkably like buying apples because you get that apple and you plant it and you wait a period of time and then that apple creates more apples. It's exactly the same shit, man. It's like when I was thinking about this, I've spoken to you guys about this like it was 6 months, a year ago. Like, to me, that is the
money
most
there, mate.
the closest thing to what HEX is like a fruit that you plant, grow, and then you've got more fruit.
Plant, grow, harvest.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and that's what I like about PulseChain too. The PulseX, where it's got in the earn, and then you've got the liquidity farms, and then you can harvest your earnings and keep your liquidity locked up. That is really, I'm really interested in. I'd like to know more about it. I'm still learning, but yeah, it looks pretty good.
Did you hear Richard Hart? Did you hear Richard Hart rattle off some of the options? So he made a comment. He said, most people are crying for mainnet, but they haven't even like worked out what their strategy is going to be. They just want mainnet because they just want it. They haven't taken the time to go on testnet and plan out a strategy. And then he rattled off a few options of things. So I wrote them down. It was stake PulseX in PulseX, stake Pulse in Pulse, stake Pulse in PulseX, or stake eHEX with HEX on Pulse. So they were the 4 that he listed, obviously just off the top of his head. I don't think he was listing them in any particular order or saying that they are going to be the best strategies, but they're just 4 of the things that I guess he's indicating, whether he meant to or not, he's indicating that people should consider those strats.
Absolutely.
I think for HEX, you're way better off staking on both chains than giving into a liquidity pool with HEX versus HEX. I don't see how that's ever gonna how many people are gonna be swapping one HEX for another HEX?
I think we've been through this before, Bloobum. It's like the advantages are that in the LP you maintain your liquidity, so you're earning a yield and you're not locked. Yeah, so that's an advantage over locking up your HEX. So the yield might not be as high, but you're maintaining a liquid stack. And when you're doing eHEX versus pHEX in a single thing, you basically don't have any impermanent loss. So it's from that perspective, it's
now there is impermanent loss if one HEX does better than the other, and you end up with the shitter one.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a fair call. If the peg does go wildly out of yep, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Hey, just a bit of housekeeping. Hey, I noticed on the thumbnail, day 43 or 43 OG, the pussy. The cat, we just had a message before. Most of us like pussy, but is it
Did we lose him?
It looks like it.
We lost him, but I concur. I think Richard Hart's not the only one who likes pussy cats. That's all of us, but that's just a bit of fun, hey? Something that's a bit of clickbait.
But you know what? But the cat videos are the most popular. More people are more
pussy
interested in cat
videos are the most popular
than financial freedom. That's madness, isn't it?
Are you saying that people complained or people agreed?
No, I don't mind what people do. I'm just saying it's a reflection on the general population when the most popular videos or the most watched videos in the world are cat videos to do with people's cats. Don't you think that's strange? Good point. Yeah. So
it's odd for sure.
Clickbait anyway, but yeah.
Clickbait. So someone in the chat's saying that we're behind the 8 ball. I think you should elaborate, buddy. Yeah, exactly. Elaborate. What are we behind the 8 ball about?
No,
is he saying we're snookered?
I'm intrigued. I don't know. We're behind the 8 ball apparently. So it'd be nice to know what we're talking about there. Yeah, I agree. Dogs. I like dog. I like dogs.
Wait, one of my
Man's
one of
best
my
friend.
favorite
Man's best friend.
one of my favorite Richard Hart quotes, all time favorite, was when he was like, "Nah, fuck cats. I'm a dog guy." Do you remember that?
He
Someone
did too,
asked
I
if he was
remember
like,
that.
Yeah,
I
vaguely,
remember
yeah,
that. Yeah, he did too. Yeah. So, is there any validity to the rumor that I saw? I believe it was on Twitter that once they've finalised the sacrifice balances for all of the now that they've closed the sack phase, we could be a couple of weeks after that. Once they finalise the the issuance of PulseChain or PulseX, that we could actually have mainnet pretty soon.
Richard did make a comment, though, to clarify that, to say that is working under an assumption that the SAC balances take longer than that one other thing that he was talking about, which he assumes that it does. But the implication there is that that other thing needs to get sorted as well, which was do you guys remember what the other one was? It was, fuck.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's the AMM bot.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's,
The AMM.
No, I think it was something else.
It was something really small, like really.
It was some other minor
Hey,
shit.
do you think they're just gonna, like, if they can't solve that version 3 liquidity issue with a bot, do you think that they're just gonna leave that ARB opportunity out there for people?
I think he's just gonna light it up.
Just
light it up, man.
I think people could make a killing on that. Hey,
well, we talked about this last week, didn't we? As well,
that happens on crypto all the time.
Yeah. They're not going to do it because it's too much work, and it's like, how do you do it anyway? It's like, it's a philosophical question.
So Muzz said that we're slow to market. That's what he meant. So I think he must be talking about PulseChain being slow to get to market. You know,
it has been.
Or maybe he meant.
You know what? It's nearly a year since it all came up. He sort of announced it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should give him.
Maybe he's saying anyone who hasn't worked out their strategy is like behind. Should sort their shit out.
No, but like in terms of working out a strategy, that's one thing you don't want to do necessarily either. Is you don't want to have a predetermined strategy going in.
Yes,
Like,
agree. You need flexibility. You need to keep it fluid.
Yeah.
Keep it fluid, and just don't change your strategy as it goes, as required.
You know what I'd be doing? I'd be looking for if I was trying to play it, which I'm probably not. I'm probably just going to sit back and watch most of it. But like if I was trying to play it, I'd just look for an 80% dip, and buy any of that stuff on an 80% dip.
By the dips.
What about
Well, we had a dip. We had another dip just in the last couple of days.
It was a pretty big one. Just wait for the dip. Be patient because
sometimes the play is not doing anything. I mean, it's not always that you have to fucking do something. You know,
correct.
But not financial advice. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Unfortunately, we can't give financial advice. So,
do you guys remember? I can give financial advice. Check this out. Do you guys remember me telling you about that guy that did a study? He took the Bitcoin chart, and one of the ways that he looked at it was if you literally nailed every bottom and every top, so bought every bottom and sold every top, compared to someone who just like DCA'd in and then like DCA'd out. And the person that DCA'd in did better because the gaps between the bottoms and the tops just were such huge runs that you're missing out on mad profit. So you could be waiting for an 80% pullback, but the thing could do like a fucking 100x. Sorry for the swearing. Could do 100x and then do an 80% pullback. Whereas if you just get in at least some at the start, then you're going to ride that. Do you know what I mean? So if you're waiting for a specific trigger or a specific indicator, you could miss like a massive run. So I think
maybe if you don't have anything that you really want.
Yes.
Like if there's a particular, like if you miss the pulse, if you miss the pulse and you've got HEX and you sacrifice for PulseX, but you miss the pulse, maybe just DCA in. Yeah.
The longer I have been in crypto, the more and more I am a fan of DCA. Like I only get more keen on it and see it working better and better for people, for myself, for others,
Would you suggest like once a week or once a day?
Those parameters are a personal choice.
Onboarding people.
That shit is very personal because it depends on your stack, how much you want to enter in. I mean, look, the frequency of entry, I think you would gauge that based on like. So the way I would do it is, I would come up with my three most likely scenarios, like the most bearish, the most bullish, and an intermediate one, and where even the bearish one assumes that it's eventually going to go up, right? Like, so all of these strategies assume that in the long term the shit's going up, which is what we expect of crypto. Yeah. And then you basically you predict those paths, and then you create your DCA strategy surrounding what you think those most likely paths are. And the frequency, I guess, is like, volatility based. Like if you think if the thing's like just doing nuts shit, then you can't really wait a full week, because after a week it could have done a 10x. You know what I mean? So you might start with a more frequent DCA, and then as time goes on, back off the frequency. I think those parameters are the hardest thing. But if you just assume that even if you don't get those parameters perfect, even if they are not perfectly optimized, it's still going to be better than you trying to time the market. That's going to be more likely that you get wrecked.
Yeah.
100%.
Hey, is there a Bitcoin chart around? A Bitcoin chart?
We have a look at some charts.
Yeah, I'm actually on one right now. It's an AUD one though. Do you want to see an AUD one?
It's going to be the same old.
What's going on with the price?
Same shape.
Yeah.
Is it like, how does the Australian dollar do much to against the US dollar? I don't even really look at it.
Not like, look, it had quite a large swing over time, but not day to day. Day to day, it's pretty stable.
Can we jump on the weekly, mate?
Sure.
Can we just look a bit more macro and just look at what's been going on? Because see.
So that was the first peak. That was the one that Richard calls the Judas candle, even though I think that to me, that's a convincing higher high. Hey, tangent.
I was looking at this today, bro. And I was just looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a fucking fake. This looks like a fucking fake out.
To the upside or to the downside?
It's a fake out, and then it's going to go down, in my mind.
Down. Ooh, see, I'm hoping for the opposite.
And so is every fucking noob who just got into crypto. Right?
Ouch. Oh, ouch.
I got a couple of noobs in this week too.
Hang on a second. Tangent, listen. You're not a noob. You've been in this shit. You're OG as it comes, bro. You are OG. That wasn't aimed at you in any way.
Thank you.
So the point I'm wanting to make is that the chart looks to me, it just looks too like it looks too much like it should go up, right? And we all know what happens in crypto when things look like they should do or seem like they're going to do something, right? And that's what, like, I think noobs will look at this chart and go, man, it's look, all the lows, they're higher lows all the way from, when it dumped from 65, like everything's a higher low. Yeah, that one. So it just seems like that's not going to get broken. I reckon that's going to get fucking broken. And I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to make a prediction here. It's not financial advice. I'm going to guess. I think we're going down to 23.
Accurate. Your calls have been pretty good. Day 43.
I think we're going down to 23. And when I say 23.5, that's USD. So whatever that is in AUD. Okay. So what would that be in AUD? Let me just work that out.
Like 30 or something.
Are we like
about 31? About 31.
I think we're 0.72 at the moment or some shit. I did that the wrong way around.
It does look like it really rolls over big when it rolls over, doesn't it? Like it feels like it's hard to get up to the high, and then it just so easily rolls over.
But this is what crypto does, right? Crypto does this. And what it does, it's sort of like it lures you in, and then what happens? It dumps, and you're down. You're in the red, right? And then you either sell when it's down, or you just keep DCAing until the next all-time high, and you get wealthy. Like that. That seems like what has happened in crypto, like time and time again. The people who tend not to have a long-term vision, they get wrecked because they just want to get out. They see losses, they see they're in the red, they're in the negative, and they just want to get out. And the people have that longer-term vision who just persist and see the lower lows as an opportunity to DCA. They historically speaking, they tend to do really well in the long term. And this is exactly what HEX addresses specifically with its staking. So you're not selling the lows. You pick a time and a predetermined period of time, and then you're staked for that period of time, and you're getting the mining rewards. Basically, you're just getting the mining rewards for staking. So, I mean, that's in my mind. In my mind, it's just the way it's laid out is so much more user friendly than Bitcoin for the noobs. In my mind,
T-shares, mate. T-shares. You know,
but to counteract to counter my point there that HEX is better for the noobs tangent.
The things that are keeping me bullish on Bitcoin are, I'm told that the on-chain, I'm told that the on-chain is still very, very bullish in terms of exchange flows and like hodl waves. And we've got some really large scale buyers that are verbally and demonstratively buying in large quantities. So those two things are keeping me bullish for now. But if we have another weekly close under the 20-week MA, I'm flipping bearish slightly, like not full hardcore bear, but I will be more bearish than bullish. So we've got one more week for me to flip bearish.
You've got that resistance line there. Not resistance, it's support.
This support line, yeah. And I've had these lines on this chart forever. So I guess now we're right on that line.
Yeah. So if that breaks to the downside.
So yeah, that was a significant high from back in the very start of the year, at literally 4th of Jan. So, and that has proven to be resistance and support throughout the chart since then. Yeah, so I guess that's another good point. That's another level to watch. Keeping in mind that this is the Australian dollar chart, so it's like a little bit different from the US dollar one. But I mean, I don't think this channel. I think this channel here looks fairly convincing, right?
How long's that?
That started. Whoa! That comment that I just made before, that was the freaking the previous year. So this little channel here started 6th of Jan of this year, and then what was I talking about before? This channel was the previous year, yo.
Guys, can we have a look at this? Can you guys address this comment here? What does that mean? What does that tell us? What are we being told from the HEX? I know. Sorry, I'll wait till we get to HEX. But yeah,
BTC. Well, I think all these big guys are getting into BTC, but the price is still going down. So what is that telling us?
Well, it's going sideways, really.
It's because there's more than one market participant. Like obviously the market is more complex than just one large scale player, and so the Bitcoin ecosystem's massive now. So it's not.
The chart does say it's going up. It does say it's going up. That is true. I'm saying it's going down. But
it's a fake out.
To me, I feel like this is like just a fake out. There's not enough.
I feel like everyone and their dog knows about cryptos now. I speak to a lot of people all over the world, and I'm telling you now, even people you wouldn't think if they don't know what cryptocurrency is, they know what Bitcoin is.
But remember the difference between awareness and adoption, yeah? So this is something I want to push back on Richard a bit, is that just because people know what Bitcoin is doesn't mean that they're actively a participant within the network.
But they're sniffing it out. They're starting to sniff it out, and the full mainstream. That feels like it to me. It's just a feeling. Yeah, I don't know.
But if they're sniffing it out, but they haven't bought in yet, then they are a potential buyer, right? if they're learning about it and haven't bought in. So Glassnode estimates less than 10% of Americans have got Bitcoin, and that's like America's obviously high, right? Because it's a first world country. So if
Australia's
you average it out,
higher,
if you look,
isn't it?
Australia is very high.
Yeah.
Australia is very high. It's one of the highest. I think there's only like one or two countries.
Well, it's all on the radio, like the advertising
Russia,
exchanges.
Russia, I think Russia, Australia, and then there was another country that are like known for being really high in crypto adoption.
Huh.
What do you think of
like
this comment?
The exchange. I think that yes, that's.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're probably true. I often wonder how much this geopolitical stuff.
Well, hang on. Tangent has got TA in his name, so
Yeah.
let's hear the rebuttal.
Matt, so I used to address comments like this very sort of politely and diplomatically, and over time I have just become more and more harsh with the way that I address when people make comments that say that TA doesn't work, because it clearly works. Like, it clearly works, and there's logical reasons behind it, and it's because the price chart does tell you. It has information about the real activity of network participants. So in that particular market for that asset, people.
But it's only about probabilities, and it's like also the future is the guesswork part.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't give you a guarantee of what's going to happen in the future, but it does tell you about the psychology of the participants. And with an asset like crypto, where there is less external manipulation, it's even more real. The price signals that you're getting in cryptocurrencies is more real than this manipulated crap in legacy, which is everything in legacy. So
I like it. I like this that guy's name, by the way, Buck.
Oh, yeah.
I like that name. Like
he's a bit of a legend
every time.
Right? He's a
bit of a legend, that bloke. Yeah, he's a bit of a
grab a HEX chart?
I often wonder though, like
people
talking about all of this,
like
I often wonder though, people talking about like geopolitics or macro and its for influence. And something that really has surprised me is I just don't understand the logic behind the stock market crashes and then Bitcoin crashes as well. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me like when you're talking about why people are in these things and stuff,
Yeah, I think unfortunately, because in crypto as a whole, there's still a lot of speculation, right? So even though fundamentally it is actually a risk-off asset, people are treating it as a risk-on asset. So you're still going to have that problem where until maybe later in its life cycle, like later in the crypto life cycle, where it's actually seen as a safe haven asset rather than a speculative asset. So while it's still being seen as a speculative asset, when everyone gets scared, it's going to be one of the things that dumps. And keep in mind that even gold dumped in 2008 when there was the global financial crisis. Gold dumped everything. When the shit hits the fan, everything dumps. People just sell everything because they're scared. And typically, it's your safe haven assets that bounce back the fastest.
So people just don't realize that they're going into cash, which is just
the worst thing to hold. Yeah. But people see that at least as being on the very short term, on the order of days and weeks and months.
Yeah,
cash at least.
You can't take your crypto into the strip clubs, mate.
Even though even though you know that your cash is going to erode with inflation over time. It's not going to drop like 30, 40, 80% in a week, right? You know that it's a slow bleed.
Yeah, it'll take a couple of years.
So when people are panicking, they're not worried. They're worried about those really drastic short-term losses. Cash still does protect you from those crashes. So what we want to see for crypto to prove itself is the speed of recovery relative to all the legacy garbage. So it doesn't necessarily protect at the moment. It doesn't necessarily protect you from the crash, but hopefully it's one of the first things to rebound.
So there's a question here. Why are so many influencers ignoring Richard Hart, for example? Lark Davis keeps saying he does not like Richard Hart projects, but never says why. Look, I can't speak about that influencer specifically, but a lot of influencers in the crypto game are basically wanting to be paid for their for covering a particular crypto.
Oh,
And
yeah, he's
because
probably paid to pay anyway. I mean, don't accuse him.
yeah,
But probably.
most of them are like that. Most of them are like that. Now, because Richard Hart is not going to pay anyone to do that, you know, that's pretty much why they're not talking about it. So, I mean, that's why.
He's also a bit of an idiot. Like that dude, honestly, he's a bit of a dickhead. Like
They're compromised. They're
not
compromised.
very smart, you know, and they haven't got an ability to change with more information, alter his opinion or change his mind, or even
They're
look at it.
compromised by financial incentive. You know,
Probably a combination of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
But they do come around slowly. Like that guy who was just last interviewed. I think he's been critical of Richard in the past, and now he was actually at the Miami. He met a whole lot of us at the Miami conference, and I think that's like.
Oh, did anyone bomb the Bitcoin conference and go outside and have big
there were
fans with
Hexicans
HEX
there,
stickers and stuff? I thought someone was going to park a truck with a Pulse logo out the front of the Bitcoin conference or something like that.
There were trucks in Miami with Pulse and that on them. Yeah, someone did that. I don't know if they did it at the Bitcoin conference. Probably did.
I hope so.
Right. Yeah.
What's
so
going on with
what's
this
going on
chart?
with this?
So this was a line of support that I was watching that had been intact roughly, apart from this little dip here. It had been intact since 9th of March, and we'd been climbing up, and then it just shat itself, yesterday or whatever. And once it broke down, we went all the way down to just under 11 cents. And then this looks like a bit of a V-shaped recovery, but we'll just have to see where it goes from here. But this was really disappointing. Obviously, you look, as we were just talking about, macro landscape absolutely shagged. So you can't really blame HEX just for going down with everything else. I continue to hold hope that one day we will see a day where HEX really outperforms on a day where everything else is getting crushed. I think that's when it shines the most. And unfortunately, over the last over 6 months, it's been going down. When it's been going down, basically it's always going down and then going even more down when everything else is going down.
Well, I added some people to the staking class this week, and I said, you're buying the absolute bottom, and then, of course, the next day it went down again. So,
financial advice.
Yeah, I can't. I've given up trying to pick what's going to happen because, I've been onboarding quite a few people over the last few months, and we seem to be. I feel like it wants to go up, but it keeps going down. So I mean,
yeah. Every time I get pumped, I'm like, this is it. So these candles, all these green candles. This is on a weekly chart now. Every single time, I'm like, hell yes, this is the run. HEX is going to turn into an unstoppable beast. Hand out a bunch of financial advice, and then it gets wrecked again.
And we're just remembering those glory days of last September. I'm waiting to see that again because that was great. That was good.
I'm confident that one day we will see an actual prolonged run. Maybe we just have to get past all of this uncertainty that is surrounding the whole PulseChain thing. People thinking that it's going to dump because of the double coins, and there's some uncertainty surrounding that. And maybe we just have to get all that nonsense out of the way so we can just have purely organic price performance again, which typically does go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must admit, I was pretty surprised to see it go back down to that 11 cent range again. I was surprised because it felt fairly stable or solid around 13.5, and it looked like it wanted to go up, but I don't know.
I mean, this candle that's forming up right now on the daily is very bullish. This is called a hammer, and that is that's a very bullish reversal candle. So see how it's got a massive wick. So it means that the price went all the way down, but then it's been bought all the way back up.
Just got gobbled up.
Just got absolutely smashed. So this indicates that either large network participants or many small network participants perceived this to be an insanely good price and just absolutely just went in all you can eat buffet down at Sizzler. Just
that 10 to 11 cent mark
themselves.
seems like it doesn't last very long down there. Having said that, we haven't. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's the last time we'll see that price or not. You just can't tell.
That's
but
a 4
it did
hour.
look like it did look like it went up straight away. It went down. It went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it is about the news? Like, it felt like it was really close, the launch of PulseChain, and then, oh no, it's not. It's going to be longer, and so people would just dump that news, and then some people gobble it up. And
I don't know.
Yeah,
the person selling just was selling what they had, and they've got another stake coming out later on. I think in May, they've got another stake coming out, 13 mil. So this is all very
people just taking big profits.
chain.
They got in and at sub penny, and they're just taking, they're just spending their.
I think
their
it's
stake.
great. Look, honestly,
they are coming from a belief system.
Hang on.
That says.
Who's that?
What are you, uNrekt?
That's
What are you doing?
Sorry,
You're fucking with my shit, mate.
Sorry, I didn't realise that was. I thought like something else.
I've got stuff lined up. So
Good,
why don't we
good.
jump to that? Okay, why don't we jump to that? We've done enough TA, right? We've done enough. TA.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Robert Malone. He's the guy who is credited with coming up with the mRNA technology.
Oh yeah.
So
He was on Rogan, right?
What absolute shit are you speaking, Fatal Fury? There's a report that the OA.
What are they claiming?
There's a report that the OA and OG made the distribution top back in October. They did sell the crap out of HEX. I haven't seen any evidence
Not
that
the
the
OA.
OA has
That's
ever
not
sold
true.
any HEX.
Yeah.
That's
The OA has sold.
Come with some
It
evidence.
also just like when you say stuff like
yeah.
that. There's a report.
If there's legit
what's that?
on-chain
Someone told
evidence,
you?
then obviously send it to me for my debate with Richard Hart. Clearly, but I don't think there is. Richard wouldn't be that dumb. In fact, in my talking points, I actually cover 2 ways that Richard can actually sell that are stealth. That he wouldn't need to actually expose himself on chain to do.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't be knowing about it if he was, probably. But I don't think he is anyway.
I don't think he is either. I really don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is.
And there's no proof. There's no proof out there or evidence. It's just like there's no evidence to that effect. It doesn't
My points are more that he could do it without anyone knowing, legitimately without anyone knowing.
It also comes back to this assumption that RH is the OA, which
that's true. That's true as well.
I'm not completely convinced of it as well.
I'm also going to be very careful with my wording, like entity or entities that control the OA, not like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to fuck around. So
Buckfart reckons he should be selling it. Selling it for what, Buckfart?
That name, man, hilarious.
Let's play this and just see what this Robert Malone has to say. I saw this clip and I just thought it was interesting, so we're playing it.
Punch it.
And then after that, maybe we can have a chat about Maximus DAO.
Before that, I've got something.
The nation state is an obsolete idea, and we have to have a one world government that is.
Hang on. Let me just start that again because it sounds like he's for it when he's not.
They are coming from a belief system that says that nation state is an obsolete idea, and we have to have a one world government that is basically a fusion of the interests of corporations and politics, global politics. And we got to start by finding out who they are, voting them out of office, making sure they are not part of our governments. 2 notable characters here in the United States are Governors Inslee and Newsom. Okay? We've got to out these people. We've got to force them to account for whether or not they're Americans or are they globalists. And if they're globalists, They got to get out. We got to get rid of them. We got to take back ownership of our country. If you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in the principles of free speech and personal autonomy, medical autonomy, and autonomy at every level, other level, it's time to fight. Or your children are going to live in basically a techno-fascism for the rest of their natural lives as serfs.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the definition of fascism, when the corporation meets government, becomes government.
Yep. It brings it home, doesn't it? Like when you hear someone actually saying that, and as someone who has kids, when I hear someone explaining it or in that way and bringing my kids into it, it's like, oh shit, this is about the future of the world and how it's going to be managed. And I certainly don't think that's the right way to go.
I have heard people in positions of power say similar things, and it does give me hope that there are politicians, as much as I do not like their shit normally, like 99% of the time. I did hear this one American politician saying, I'm not having my kids grow up in freaking in like that nonsense. Definitely not. So, yeah.
I think shout out to Johnny Chaos. I think that this is a pretty good point. Richard raised $2 billion in sacrifices. He could use that and spend $1 million a week for 40 years before it runs out. Why does Richard ever need to sell any of his coins? That's a reasonable. It's pretty reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, I can smash that though. Like I can smash the absolute shit out of that. Like I've got counters to like all.
You should save that for your debate. You should. Save
I know. Yeah. So I'm probably leaking too much of my quality of like my more quality stuff, but I can absolutely like this comment here is one of the things that I've got in my talking points. I can smash the absolute shit out of this, like hardcore, like in like 3 or 4 different ways. It's going to be like I don't want to talk this up too much, but this shit's going to be epic. You guys will have never seen anything like this.
So is this actually something? Is this something
Richard hasn't agreed to it yet, but he's going to have to.
So
because I'm just going to get more and more mouthy about it until he has to like allow me to challenge him. But most of these comments, most of these talking points that Hexicans parrot a lot of things that he said and things like this, like I can absolutely crush these things.
Do you know who GT was?
Good texture. He like socially attacked me once. I can't remember what it was about. I just ignored it. Like I can't remember what it was about. I think I actually did a stream straight afterwards where I did sound like a little bit defensive about it. I just can't even remember what the topic was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reckoned you were like a noob pleb or something. He called you a noob pleb or something like that, didn't he?
Lol.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Was he
just to give Johnny like Johnny's like Johnny's OG, right? Johnny is OG as they come in Hex. Just to give Johnny a bit of context, Tangent wants to do a debate with Richard to well, maybe you can explain it, Tangent, and explain like where you're coming from, that it's not like you're.
I just want to specifically set the record straight on a few things to do with Bitcoin and a few things with other things. I want things to be accurate. Richard loves accuracy of language, and I think there are a few things where the whole community has gone a little bit off the rails with just specific items. So I agree with Richard on like 98% of what he says, but there's just a few things that I want to challenge him on to do with Bitcoin and Hex, etc., that I believe need to be corrected, and I'm open-minded to that. He might be able to change my mind on some of these things, but everything that I'm planning to talk about has either never been raised before or has not been like discussed and clarified and debated to my satisfaction. That the people that have challenged him haven't gone down the path far enough. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So it'd be literally all new content.
And I get the impression you get the impression that you get on pretty well with Richard. And
I've been genuinely
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think it would be an incredible discussion because effectively since before HEX
I think it
ever
would
even
be an
existed,
amazing discussion as well. Like you
I have
guys.
been literally
I really
asking
think it would
myself
be.
the question of what is better out of HEX and Bitcoin, because obviously I still love them both. And so I've literally been thinking about this for years, and there are items that definitely need clarification.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair.
And that would be great.
Well-
It'd be great television. It'd be great television, that's for sure.
Can I just
yeah.
before people in the chat like get to whatever about it, it takes balls to come forward and say that you're willing to do that. And I mean, look, I've listened to Tangent on stream for a long time, and I find the way that you articulate things, Tangent, to be to my satisfaction, like, which is, you know, I don't think you stay when you're making a point or an argument, you do it well and you're articulate and you make your points. You're not, and then when you're fucking around and joking around, you're doing that, like, and you go extreme on that end. So
this will be zero jokes. This will be zero jokes. This will just be flat out serious the entire time.
Wanting to have an in-depth discussion about certain elements that you disagree on, you know.
Yeah.
My point about I had that one
Hexicans...
point last week that I made that, you know, the only reason I can imagine that he wouldn't want to do it would be that, like, what is the benefit? Like, there's no new people coming in.
It doesn't get him any new users.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason why he, you know.
Someone made that comment on Twitter, but I'm like, do you guys care about accuracy? Do you guys care about honesty? We all claim to. So do we actually give a shit about accuracy, or do we just literally only care
I would love
about?
To hear you guys talk.
That wasn't aimed at you guys. That was just that's my response to people that are like, oh, this is not going to raise the audience level, but maybe it would if there was a really challenging discussion. Maybe people will watch that shit.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Like from outside of the HEX community, like maybe Bitcoiners will be like, "Hey, this guy claims that he's defending Bitcoin even though he's within the HEX community. What's that shit about? Like, let's go and see if this guy's actually for real or whether it's like controlled opposition." Like, I think some level of intrigue could be built that would flood outside of just the HEX community. Plus, Hexicans claim they love seeing people get wrecked by Richard Hart. So what's the loss? Like, what's the risk for people within the HEX community? Like, why would you not want it to happen? It's either going to be like I've claimed, new shit that is actually challenging, or it's going to be me getting wrecked. For the viewers, it's a win-win. I don't see why anyone would not want to see that shit.
It's great to see everyone here tonight. We've got nearly 200 watching on the live stream, so that's really good. Hey, speaking of views, can we talk about if any of you guys watched there's a documentary on Netflix called Trust No One at the moment, and of course we've got the highest of stakes documentary.
I started watching
highest of stakes documentary, and can I just I was supposed to shill this last week, but with you blokes, it's hard to get a word in, and I didn't get a chance to promote this, and I said to our mate, hang on, where is it? Here we go. I want to share this. It's the where we are, the fake influencer, you know. So we know our mate Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom.
Oh yeah, is he bringing it out? Is he bringing it out?
I've invited him on the show, and he's accepted. So, so if you boys are in agreement, he's prepared to come and talk to us. Despite
I'm down.
He wanted me to shill his website. So I'll put the link in the chat as well, and then he's happy, and then we're all happy, and we can have a chat.
Hey,
because,
can I ask what does Tom? Can I ask what does Tom do? What does he actually do?
He's a professional troll.
He's a professional troll. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Professional troll. No. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just joking.
No, I actually thought that's Like
He's an actor,
no
and
shit.
he's an actor, director, producer, editor. He makes his own stuff, and he does it in character. Like,
So I actually was interviewed by him for this documentary, and now I just realized I'm going to have to go back and watch the footage because I've got copies from my end, and make sure I didn't give away like any of my hardcore talking points for this Richard Hart debate on that interview.
because Richard's really going to be watching anything that Tom makes.
Oh, would he not? If it's a dedicated
I think he would
HEX
not.
video, I
he would
think he
not.
probably would.
We'll see. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, right?
Did you guys watch his?
If something came out, Bluey, and there was anything of any significance that would raise eyebrows, it would get put in front of him anyway. Hey?
Yeah, exactly. He would at least get someone else to watch it if he doesn't have time to watch it.
He'd see the clip.
There may be some value in it for the audience and to have that conversation. And look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's pretty hard to recover from that Valentine's Day cameo thing that he did. I thought that was pretty cringy. And anyway, he's out there making a documentary about involving HEX, and he's Sammy, and he's spoken a tangent for that documentary. And hey, look, there's no such thing as all publicity is good publicity, I suppose.
It's not going to be. It's probably going to be more like a mock. It's probably going to be more like a mockumentary.
Mockumentary.
Well, they get him on. Let's have the conversation and say, why are you doing that? Why are you wasting your time doing that? Why?
Yeah.
If you don't want to have the conversation with him,
you can ask the questions, mate. You got the questions.
I believe that he wanted to sort of, I guess, partly document his journey because he bought HEX and staked it, I think, for like a year or something. And so I think he just wanted to kind of like document his journey through that stake, meet people within the community, observe, and just sort of like, and then his stake ends when
I contacted him. I contacted him when he was making his first movie, his first doco or whatever, mockumentary. Because I was like, you've got to pivot to doing it about HEX. And I just I kind of tried to convince him to start pivoting it into HEX instead. And then he didn't. He just went and made it, and it turned out pretty. I mean, people can go and watch it and make their own judgments about it.
Was that the scooter coin one or whatever?
Yeah. And
that's
then,
not a real crypto though, is it?
And then I had
scooter coin. What?
No, it's not.
And then I had it was actually a real crypto.
No. And then I had to talk with him because I thought, okay, well, he wants to make another one now, and he was talking about making it with HEX, and so I was like, I had chats with him to like, okay, well, maybe we could, do something, but I didn't like his ideas, to be honest. Just and I didn't think I could work with him, so I didn't. So like, it'd be interesting to see what he comes up with, but I wouldn't have massive hopes, guys, about anything interesting.
No, maybe I mean, I was just me doing a favour, like me doing him a solid because he looks like he's up against it. To be honest, it was for that very reason, Bluey. And I thought, look,
did you watch his first film?
No, I haven't got time for that.
I mean, he's put a lot of work in. He's put a ton of work into his projects. I'll give him that. But by the same token, like.
But anything that promotes HEX is good. Got to be net positive in some respects.
Yes, no such thing as bad
publicity. Whether he's taken the P155 or not,
Well, he had an interview with Richard Hart, and it was
true.
Was it a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
So you can always go back and watch that.
Because he kind of like he kind of got that under false pretenses, and which is why it was taken down.
Oh, was it taken down? Was it?
Yeah, because he did that interview under the guise that he was doing a documentary about HEX. But what he was really doing was he was interviewing Richard in character for his mockumentary, which is about this kind of. I mean, you can go and watch it. Everyone can go watch it. What it was. I don't even really know how to describe it because I just don't think it was very good, to be honest.
Anyway, let's pivot on to something that is actually quite funny, in my opinion, guys. I've got a clip here. It's like, just watch this. I think this. Anyway, I'm just gonna play it. Fuck it. Just watch. Wrecked.
I didn't find that funny.
Did
So
you?
it was it was a prank.
That was mildly
Yeah,
amusing.
completely.
At
Looked
best.
like it, didn't it? Yeah, there's a
I thought
classic.
that was hilarious, bro. I watched that like 3 or 4 times, and I was laughing my ass off so much at that, like so hard. I don't know. Maybe we
Fair
just
enough.
have different sense of the humor, eh? Different
Hey.
sense of humor.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Wait, can I be
Different
selfish and
strokes
just
for
ask a
different
question of something I want to know? Where can I go to find out what the freaking Liquid Loan sacrifice address was? Because they've taken it down off everywhere because obviously they don't want people to accidentally send it. But I need it so I can like chain my shit.
You can't. Yeah, you can't just
I
look
can
what you
get
sacked.
for you.
Like,
I'll get it
yeah,
for you, mate. I'll get it for you off
can
my
someone?
address.
Can someone's? In fact, anyone watching, if you can DM me on Twitter the sacrifice address for Liquid Loans, that would be amazing. Cheers. What else? What else?
Plenty. Let's should we go back to that chart, or should we talk about?
Let's talk about Hedron because Alex
Hedron.
brought up something interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Maximus.
So, first of all, I just want to clear something up. Everyone's going, "Oh, there's this price wall that the OA has put in on Hedron, like a liquidity wall, right?" But it's
I'm not happy about that.
Well, it's wrong.
liquidity-
It's misinformation. It's misinformation.
Fake news.
But I was
fake
making
news.
bank
news.
on that. I was making bank on that liquidity pair, just providing liquidity on Uniswap, and then when the OA made that move, the fees just dried up on the pair. Like,
Were you doing V2 or V3?
V3, Hex and Hedron, I was doing liquidity on.
I think
and
it was
doing
because
really
it's
good to start with.
Yeah, but that wall is like far away. You can bring it up if you want, like that.
Yeah,
okay,
I was
so
going to say, how
first of all,
does it mess with your
the
fees
wall-
if it's just...
Okay, so the wall, there's no wall on the HEX USDC
Because
price.
it's a whale.
So it's not trying to repress the HEX USDC price. There is a big wall, but it's about a 3x away from where we are at the moment.
On what pair?
On the HEX Hedron pair. Right?
On HEX Hedron.
Yeah.
So that
like about 3x from here, like there is a wall and
selling which asset? What's the wall? Which side is it on? Selling Hedron for HEX if it gets hit. Like which way around is it? If the wall gets hit, which one gets sold?
it's selling
It must be Hedron, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
people
Hedron.
are talking about it as a sell wall, then I'm assuming that it's that way around.
Yeah.
Protects
Yeah,
the
it's a
HEX
sell wall
price,
for Hedron.
basically.
You're right. Yeah.
So it's a sell wall. Okay.
Alex,
but you reckon it's 3x away in price? That doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter, right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you've
It
still got
shouldn't
a
matter at
whale
the moment at
providing
all.
liquidity in it. You've still got a whale providing liquidity, and it sucks it gets the lion's share of all the fees because it's got a bigger percentage of the pool.
Because it's not in the range at the moment. It's not getting any.
Bloobum's saying it's like way out, but maybe uNrekt is suggesting that even though maybe visually it looks like the majority of the liquid is up at that height, but it may have had some applied like to a lesser extent.
No, it
across
hasn't.
the
It's
full
just a
range.
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
You can look at it. It's just a massive wall
All right.
at this price level.
Then uNrekt, it shouldn't
At
really
like
be messing with your fees.
25,000.
I'm afraid to ask this
Maybe-
next question. What is a
maybe the
chugging? What is
volatility-
chugging?
Chugging.
Just like
What is
drinking your
Drinking
your
fast.
entire drink, drinking fast,
Oh.
drinking fast.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Um,
okay. Sorry.
How
I
are you
just got
Australian?
distracted.
bro? How are you even Australian?
Well, you don't
You
know
don't
what
know what
chugging
chugging
is, uNrekt.
No, I think uNrekt might have been going for like a slight modified definition that is
Could have been
sexual
like
in nature.
Urban Dictionary something. I don't know. Sculling.
Oh,
Oh, sculling. Yeah, I like. Oh, so like that.
Yep.
Skull. Yeah, right. Fair enough.
So, yeah, so maybe uNrekt, it might just be the volatility, man. Like, as in maybe the volatility on the asset just reduced, so you're getting less fees.
I think people started providing a lot more liquidity to that pair. That's why you're getting less fees.
Also possible, yep.
But that
That's right.
wasn't that OA wall.
It just means you got to. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is.
But
And I'm just.
how's this is a
Hedron's been
theory?
Great opportunity
Maybe.
for me.
How's this as a theory? Maybe that is hedging the HEX price so that it won't go under 10 cents.
Here it says this person's saying the wall is on the ETH pair.
Nah, that's bullshit.
We're talking about
Well,
this.
not-
Just
not- I
to
have-
this
I
person,
didn't
we're
look
talking
since
about
yesterday,
Hedron.
but-
We're not talking
Yeah,
about.
I moved my
we're talking
liquidity
about
over to the
Hedron.
ETH pair and it's making bank. Yeah.
Look,
So-
you
I
can
just-
go look at all these. You know,
Can
you
I just
go
shout
look at-
out? Can I just shout out Lars Beneath the Truth for sending me the SAC address? Thank you very much. No one else needs to send it. I've got it now. Thank you.
How do
You know
it
that
wasn't a
they're
lie?
lies.
So what else did you want to say about Hedron?
Well, just that theory that like it's kind of a hedge against HEX going too low. Because
But both assets can go down, right? So it doesn't really provide any kind of, because they can just both go down, right?
yeah, that's true.
Do we have a chart, like a liquidity pool or something chart that we can look at?
I'll get
Ooh,
one.
You guys,
Yeah,
what
I
you
can
guys
get
are
it.
talking about right now, it's like
I've never looked at
you
the
got-
Hedron. I've never looked at the Hedron liquidity chart. Actually, I've only ever looked at HEX. I've never looked at any other asset for liquidity, because other assets I don't give a shit. Oh yeah, okay. I see what's going on.
Oh, you got it?
No. Sorry. I'm just looking at the price chart.
Oh.
So uNrekt, looking at this price chart, right? It was going very sideways, and that's when liquidity providers make the most bank, because it's
Yes.
just staying flat but going back and forth. So now that it's actually in a downtrend, assuming that you're on the Hedron versus USDC pair, then that's when
No,
you don't.
Hexhedron. Hexhedron.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm on the wrong pair then.
Yeah, Hexhedron and Hedron ETH as well. But yeah.
This is all getting so complicated, isn't it? In terms of the number of
Yeah, and it's also difficult because you've got the 1% level, you've got the 0.3% level, and then you've got the
that's also
V3 and
confusing.
V2. So listen, I'll share my screen. This is
That's a good point. Maybe we need someone to like
Put it all together.
create aggregated plots. Hey,
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
even if there's like,
want me to share it?
even if it's not purely accurate, like there might just be like some assumptions that
All
need
good,
to be
mate.
made.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
By the way,
What do we want to look at here? Which one?
Yeah, look at the 1% HEX. No, the USDC HEX USDC one. Oh no, look at the HEX Hedron. You'll see the wall there. Yeah, at 1%.
by the way, the price level that we're at the moment for Hedron is like
liquidity.
it's the 80% pullback level that I was not calling for, but suggesting that it could be realistic that we fell out of the parabola. And I said, Richard Hart talks about how when you fall out of the parabola, you crash 80% of the move roughly. And that's basically what we've done now.
So it's still like the price is way off that wall at the moment. So I think that wall's at like 25,000 Hedron or something like that. Yeah. 26,000 Hedron.
That is a badass wall, man.
So it means that at that price, like, it's going to be hard to move the price up through that. But if people big want to come in big, then they're going to get very low slippage. So it's a double-edged sword, and it means if it's at that price, then HEX and Hedron move up together.
But you just remember that they can still both move down.
Yeah, they can move down together or up together.
Or up together. Yes.
Yeah.
Or up together. Yes. Yeah,
Well, if that was the
definitely.
case,
Yes,
then this
And
1
you'd
to
think
1,
that they,
1
you
to
think,
68,000 would stay the same if they're moving up and down together. But if the ratio between the two is changing, that's when we're going to see like a movement here towards, like if the ratio, let's say, like here, one hex is for 1 hex you're getting only 23,000 Hedron. That means Hedron is going up in value against HEX, and if it's going down, like down here, 1 hex is 100,000 Hedron. Means the Hedron's going down in value against that 1 hex. So I mean, look, there's liquidity here. If I just
so uNrekt, you should be getting like if people are actually swapping this pair, like
I'm not complaining, mate. I'm not complaining. Look,
yeah.
it's small quibble.
And let's have a look
it's an experiment anyway. I'm just experimenting with the
let's have a
liquidity
look at
pools at the
Hedron
moment.
USDC.
Is there Hedron USDC?
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, is it say more or something? Look. It's somewhere.
I'll just say that the
There we go.
Hedron
Yeah.
ETH pair is doing better than the Hedron HEX pair on the 1% because I'm on the 1%.
There's a 1% and then there's a 0.3%.
Yeah, the 1% has
that's right.
most of the liquidity.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I like holding a Hedron. I really like Hedron. I think Hedron's a good.
You know what? I always thought that Hedron was going to like be a super long-term play, and that at the start it was going to be dumped, and then it went up. It kind of went sideways, and then it went up like a 10x, and then I was like, oh, maybe it's not just going to dump at the start, but now it has gone down back to its original level. So I still think
we're right on this on the edge of this. So what does that mean? We're right on the edge here.
So if you're going to the right, that's Hedron becoming more cheaper.
It's cheaper.
And going to the left, it's Hedron becoming more expensive.
Yeah, it's the opposite way around of what most people would expect that axis to be.
Yeah. And you know what? That's like 3 million worth of total value locked, hey? That's interesting. It is quite. Maybe some people have been putting in because it was really. I looked at it yesterday and it was all over the shop. This one, or maybe that was ETH. Do you want to have a look at ETH quickly? ETH Hedron.
Yep.
Hectic. Oh, ETH's been pumping. ETH and Bitcoin have made local bottoms.
What does that mean?
Like, as in they've.
Oh, just a recent bottom.
They've created. They've just like they've reversed to the upside.
Yeah, it looks like everything's going up again, doesn't it?
Like locally, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get more downside action. It just means that it's just a local bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. That's been changing around. Huh.
If you
I think
if you put
that's a ton of liquidity for people wanting to buy Hedron, hey? And ETH.
I've noticed that like if you put like 0 to infinity and then and you're getting nice sideways action, you basically your liquidity moves with the price, and so so I think that that's
probably the reason you're not making as much because you've got such a big range.
Yeah.
When you have a smaller range,
gotcha.
Then you'll be earning more because more of your money is in that range.
Yeah, I might have to try a couple. I might try the 0.3, the 0.03, and do a couple of other options.
Yeah, I've been playing around. I've been playing around with a few of the different pools, but I think the V3 1% is the best one.
Do we want to have a chat about Maximus
making money? Oh yeah,
I don't know much about it.
I reckon it's a great idea. It's really simple, and I think people can get it.
Do you want to maybe talk about it? And once again, guys, you really have to go and learn about Maximus yourself. A reverse Kanga.
Yeah, 2 girls, 1 bloke. Reverse Kanga.
Dude, I have a different like different understanding of what a reverse Kanga is.
Sounds like a cricket term.
No, I just made that up. Sorry, that's off the topic.
What's your reverse Kanga? No, uNrekt. We're on this point now. So
it's like a cowboy toss salad. Cowboy toss salad.
Okay, so yours is sex. Okay, so my understanding of a reverse Kanga is like taking a shit on the toilet but facing the fucking system.
Damn, man.
Like,
Oh
rather than
yes,
facing the other
yes,
way.
it's that
That's
as
a
well.
reverse
Yeah, it's
kangaroo.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a reverse kangaroo as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
Anyway,
more sense.
That's off topic.
Yeah.
Let's get off. Just get back on the topic. Keep
Yeah,
it
let's
clean.
that's
above the belt.
yeah,
Above the belt.
people don't need to know about that. 2 girls, 1 kangaroo.
Lol.
So-
Yes.
Well, Chris Potter and Pervert, what can I say?
We've been trying to make a time to
I
have.
saw that. I saw that. She's a poorly timed yes on my behalf, just as I said, like a reverse kangaroo.
Hey, I have no trouble getting girls to say yes to me. Women like to say yes to me. Anyway,
What's the
Why
punchline?
is that?
and I'm,
Why is that?
Oh, there's no punchline.
because I'm charming.
I thought you were gonna-
Because I'm charming.
Oh,
And
That's just straight up, right?
I got all the right.
Listen, I'm not going to
Things to
explain an
say.
upper deck. That's too much for this show. That's just too much for this show. If you don't know what an upper deck is, maybe you don't need to know what an upper deck is.
I've never been to the Mile High Club. I haven't been to the Mile High Club yet. It's on the
No?
list. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I know someone who
You're gonna
has.
do it.
Yeah, same actually.
Legend.
Does it count? Wait, does it count if it's your girlfriend? Like, as in,
Of course.
Yeah.
it still counts, eh? Yeah, I still haven't. I still haven't done it regardless. But I think that would be an easier way to get it to happen than a random.
And it doesn't
or
count
like
if you just
A random
jerking
would
off
be
in the
pretty
toilet.
extra points, I
a,
think.
oh, obviously not. Yeah. You can't just jack it. It needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Needs to
can't
be
just fuck
challenged.
yourself. Has to be someone else.
You can. Wouldn't recommend it.
Air hostess would be dope.
Hard to have a gay time on your own, isn't it?
I think like that was probably maybe possible up until the 80s, maybe the 90s, but I don't think I don't know. Maybe some other shenanigans go on in first class that I don't know about. But
Yeah, I think you're right. In first class, where you've got like your own room with like a shuttable door and stuff, then possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone walking
like
by.
economy,
into-
fucking forget about it, bro.
Yeah, but in first class, everyone walking by can look into your little. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, it's not like you got a private little kind of. Where no one
I think
can see
I think some of them do. Don't they have like closable rooms on some first class shit? I mean, I haven't been in it, but I thought there was some that has full privacy, like your own room with like a door and everything. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about that picture of Richard Hart during the week that we were sitting on a plane in first class?
That's what you want,
I
a
mean,
jet, private jet.
It's on a
Yeah.
private
I mean,
jet.
You know, you
that was private.
Like the
Yeah, but
Pablo
yeah, you just
Escobar, like sitting waiting on the park bench.
Yeah, he was trying to do Sad Pablo.
you just get some girls in there and you'll be right.
Pensive Pablo.
Oh, did you hear about that? Like he's going to do an interview with a play girl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Playboy model.
Playboy,
Yeah.
Playgirl. What was I saying?
I love that term that he used. Painfully hot. Like it actually hurts you to know that females that hot exist. Like it's painful to your existence. Like.
But then he's like, it's a month away, and I'm like, fuck, a month. At this point, a month feels like years away.
Yeah, man.
I can't believe it's been a year since like the whole idea of Pulse was launched.
Yeah. Guys in the chat, I know I fucked up. I said Playgirl. I fucked up. Okay. Although I know some of you guys are into it, but that's cool.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there used to be a Playgirl magazine that actually was still girls. Like, so it wasn't like it was a magazine with naked dudes. Playgirl and Playboy both existed here in Australia, and they were both nudie magazines with females only in them.
I got a Playgirl bunny.
Anyone know that? Remember
at the moment.
Picture Magazine? Did anyone know that?
Yeah, I got one of the girls from one of them. She's been in all over Picture and everything.
I'm actually glad that I'm assuming we all grew up predating there being like high speed internet where you could just get like pornographic videos on demand and shit, because they reckon it's like fucked everyone's brains. Like it's like wrecked everyone's dopamine receptors and shit like that. So growing up when it was like old school where you just like had to try and like find nudie magazines and always failing at finding them and shit and getting busted at school with like Playboy magazines and shit. And even then it being pretty weak compared to what you can do now with like an internet, or just an internet enabled phone. I'm glad that my like dopamine receptors in my brain didn't get shagged by like, because how would you resist that shit? How would you resist looking at that shit? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way a high school boy would be able to resist that. No way. Not possible.
Yeah. No, they're watching porn for sure.
And girls. Like, yeah. So
yeah.
We used to exchange like those floppy disks. Not the big floppy
really?
ones.
Oh, 3 1/4. The ones that were called floppy, but they were actually hard. Like they were not floppy at all. Yeah.
The one that had like 1.44 meg.
Oh, bro.
Unless they were double-sided. The double-sided ones or whatever. I think they were ones.
Do you know what? I actually do remember exchanging pornographic images with my friends using those exact discs. Yep.
But it was shitty porn. It was like shitty porn.
Yeah, completely shit. Just like still images of like a naked chick.
Or it was just like a GIF or something like that.
Yeah, not even like, it wasn't even like actual sex. It was just like literally a naked chick. I found out that like my friends and I have got quite different tastes at that point. Like those friends of mine in high school, because we used to think each other's pics were like shit.
Bro, in high school, there was a whole economy that went around. I mean, like when it came to do it, there was an economy around like exchange of pornographic materials at my high school.
What about the office where there was like, you'd send a PowerPoint and then it was like a work file. You'd send it around the office and we had those like, and then they open up the PowerPoint and it like had volume and it would come up, hey everybody, I'm looking at gay porn. And you'd be like,
oh yeah.
That was a good joke. That was a gag.
That was like the early 2000s.
No, that was in like 2013 or something.
Right. That happened to me in the early 2000s. I remember specifically. I was at work. I used to work in this theater in New York, and I just spent my whole day on the open forums, the Craigslist open forums, just chatting to other office workers, and like, yeah.
But that would be pretty obvious, right? Like,
What's
as in that it's
Have you guys ever heard of the Hun?
Yeah, I know the Hun.
It's
a
porn.
Hun.
It's just a porn.
It used to be you had to go and get, when you didn't have like moving pictures, you just had like photographs of lewd acts, pornography basically, and girls.
That was early 2000s.
Anyway, I think you got to. Yeah, I agree with Tangent. You've got to moderation. Everything in moderation is, but you can't beat the real thing. And all the health benefits you get from having sex with someone else is you don't get from batting off. And I'm too old for that now. So, and I've got enough number of willing helpers. But anyway, let's get back on the topic. Let's get back on the topic.
Yeah. What's the most important shit that we can talk about? How can we add maximum value to the viewers in the short time we have left?
What financial advice can we give?
Yeah. How can we squeeze the maximum amount of financial advice into the time that we've got left?
I know what I can do. Give me a second.
We're going to talk about Maximus.
Lots of plum trees, a sheep, a two, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back.
There's a knife. All I had was me undies on.
Okay, so guys, I'm gonna show you this one here.
No.
Boy HEX.
Nice.
That's, hang on.
Steak and chill.
Nice one.
Steak and chill.
Yeah.
Let me see. Who sent me that? I had it here. You know who you are in the chat.
That's good advice too, because if you steak, you can chill, you can relax.
Dorsey 78, because he's had other ones as well, but so he's got Hexagon of the Week. So I think if you go and get a HEX number plate for your car, I think that deserves props.
Yeah. So that hasn't got a car yet. It's just a number plate.
I think he does have a car. I think he's got. Yeah, I think he does have a car, but
I've literally got 2 more pairs of number plates than I have cars, because when I bought that Corvette, it already had personalized plates on it. So I was like, shit. And so the Department of Transport has got like my Bitcoin number plates and another set, because you're not allowed to keep the plates if you don't have a car to put them on. They store them, and then you get them back if you've actually got a vehicle to put them on.
You got a Corvette, do you?
Yeah, just like a super old one.
Little red Corvette.
Nice.
Mine's white, but I'm going to actually wrap it blue.
Nice.
The old Corvette.
Very nice. Okay, so guys, we've been going for almost 2 hours.
Should we do the what's them call it? Predictions?
Jexxa's away.
We can still do it. We can still do it. Just give me.
Do you have access?
I got wrecked. I thought it was going to go up from last week.
I do have access, but give me a couple of seconds, you guys, if you want to just.
Well, we could also we're going to try to bring on Dipcatcher to talk.
Let's talk about Maximus. Let's talk about it, because there's a Maximus DAO. There's been a few inquiries in the chat. The boys are interested in what's going on there. We're just across that.
Yeah, well, we're just trying to work out a time for Dipcatcher to come on so we can talk about it. It's pretty simple though. It's basically like you give your HEX, you get this maxi token, and that maxi token represents whatever
percentage of the pool.
Yeah, exactly. A percentage of the pool. So everyone that just collects their HEX, it goes into one big stake that's maximum length. Hopefully it has a bigger pays better bonus. And it also has all the hedron it collects at the end of it. And at any time you can cash that maxi in, because there'll be like a market for it. Like it's just like any ERC20. It is an ERC20 coin. And so if you imagine the value of the HEX stake going up over time, the value of the maxi will probably follow that, but it'll have times when it's at a premium and times when it's at a discount. And
How is it correlated? How do they correlate those two?
Well, it's the market correlates it. No one person correlates it. That's just what you would expect to happen. There might, there'll be times when it's like at a discount and times when but it's also going to track that, and that's also relative to the actual HEX price and how much that HEX stake is, and plus the hedron price, and so it's an interesting one.
It looks like a trading coin. It looks like a trading coin because I saw that graph and it's got the price fluctuation going up with the
I see it more less like you want to trade it, more like you want to, if you want to make a HEX stake, but you want to have the option to, like, in a couple of years' time, take out 10% of it, but you're getting the maximum yield. So because it's being put in the maximum length time and hopefully at the maximum bigger pays better bonus, or depending on how much they get, you're getting the most yield every day. And so rather than like actually locking up that HEX, all of your HEX for all of that time, and you wouldn't get those bonuses anyway because you wouldn't have that much money in there, you're able to like just pull out a little bit as you go, potentially. So I think it's a nice bit of flexibility.
When's it launching? When's that going to kick off? Do we know?
ASAP. I'm not sure. I haven't actually. That's why we wanted to have Dipcatcher on to answer a few of these questions. But it's going to only be like 2 weeks that it's open.
So there's been an audit. There's been an audit of this code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through the audit. It looked awesome, like pretty all flying colors. Yeah.
But I do have to put out there, like, not being a coder, you read the audit and you take it on face value. But
yeah, I mean,
as far as I understand, it's not like super, super, super complicated. It's like they've tried to keep it as simple as possible. But the benefit, I think the benefit there is the reduced gas fees if you're going in. But what I haven't understood, and this is something that we would ask Dipcatcher, is who is paying who's going to pay the end stake?
Yeah, I asked. That was the very first question I asked, like when I first heard about it, and basically it's either a benevolent whale, or at that time you would think that people would get organized to raise the funds to end stake it, because it's going to be worth so much money by that stage.
Yep. And you'll be able to run the AMR bonus for Hedron as well along the way. So anyone will be able to run that. Like if there's an AMR bonus event for Hedron in Maxi, you'll be able.
Is that true? I thought they had to wait until the end. Like I thought they were thinking about trying to do something like that, but then maybe
I thought they did that. I thought they did that.
Oh, okay.
Because I listened to. Did you? I listened to an interview that they did.
Oh,
and
okay.
They were talking about it. But look, don't take my word for it. We should ask him in person what what the deal is with that. But an interesting thing would be that the Maximus contract, that's a one-time thing. It happens once, right? So it's something that's ongoing. It happens once, and then whoever goes into it in that 2 weeks, it all gets staked for like 15 years. And
you're right.
Then, so what's interesting about that? What's interesting about that?
150 million.
If they get to 150 million, that is the maximum bigger pays better bonus.
Yep.
It's like 15 million hex bonus, eh? Just as a bigger pays better, 10%.
It's worth a lot. It's worth a lot.
It's paid in terms of. T-shares though.
Oh yeah.
Paid in terms of
T-shares. So you're right. Okay, right. Yeah. So it's heaps more. Basically, it's heaps more hex getting paid.
So
every day.
if they, So, but there's a big difference between like 100 million hex getting staked or 50 million hex getting staked and 150, and it's not just like double or triple the amount of bonus. Like it's quadratic. How that bigger pays better bonus works is it's a quadratic formula. It's in the staking deep dive that Kyle wrote, and it's got the quadratic formula in there. But 150 million, you do get a 10% T-share bonus. So
speaking of Maxi,
or ideally, there you go. Erecto Max.
I'm not a young
Hang on,
Trojan
can we see that again, brother? Can we say that again?
What does that do? What is that?
This is how uNrekt keeps
puts hairs on your chest. Puts hairs on
his
your
harem.
I've got a.
Does he like having a hairy chest?
Playmate here. I've got a playmate from that magazine.
Erecto. Hang on. Leave it there for a second, mate. Leave it there for a second so we can see it. Erecto Max.
What the hell is this? It's just like a herbal thing.
It's just I think it's rubbish. I think there's better ones than that, but that's just from the chemist. I don't know. It's just probably tribulus and what was it? It's probably just tribulus and it's just herbs, magnesium, aspartate, zinc, the usual culprits. Korean ginseng. Yeah,
don't mind the Korean ginseng, hey.
I'll do whatever.
So unfortunately, guys, this week I tried to access the site. I can't get into it for some reason, but what I can say is that you can still vote for next week.
It's probably Dawsey probably won.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's either par excellence or
just anyone tell us if you got it right.
That's going to work out well. So guys, you can go vote for next week.
Okay.
In the chat.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing another hex pump. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while. since we've seen the price of HEX pump.
Yeah, it was like around April last year, wasn't it? When we had that, when it went through 10 cents and everything.
September, we had that massive, ungodly HEX pump that was melting faces.
After the sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah.
After the sacrifice, it went down, and then it went. That's when it did that massive pump. After the first pulse sacrifice.
So it's still an accumulation phase. If you're scaling in, if you've got, think about your dollar cost average strategies and you buy and getting your stakes and everything in. As you've had. There's really no excuse because we've had this whole period of accumulation. So yeah. Anyway, I think eventually HEX will do the HEX thing, and there'll be more mad gains, and we will be waiting for that. I think
that's correct. And I'm just reading the title of this stream. Free copy of your ERC20 tokens on PulseChain. We really haven't discussed that very much at all. There's going to be a fork of Ethereum called PulseChain for anyone who doesn't already know. And anything that you have on the Ethereum chain, you're going to get a copy of that on the PulseChain. We expect PulseChain to be launched in the next 4 weeks. So be vigilant. Keep your eye on. There's a running testnet at the moment, which is working like beautifully. It is working beautifully.
Very slick.
Take Richard's advice.
It's awesome.
Take Richard's advice that if you have not messed around on the testnet yet, you will be behind people who have when it comes to, because even if you don't plan to formulate a specific strategy, just knowing how to do the rudimentary shit of like what buttons to click and shit like that, you'll just be able to do things faster once you decide what you want to do. You'll be able to execute quicker, more efficiently.
PulseChain.com. PulseChain.com.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Yeah, lol.
Right there. So go to PulseChain.com. It's got the RPC details to get onto the public testnet, and you can go in and play around there and see how it's all working. There's a functioning testnet bridge which bridges over to what's it bridging over to? I forget.
Robson testnet.
No, Robson
or Rinkeby.
Whatever it's called. And then there's a Uniswap fork, or I should say a Pancake Swap fork that is working. You can delegate stakes. There's delegate your pulse, your testnet pulse to the validators and stake them. So there's all sorts of things that you can do and check out. I'm reading in the chat that that people have been farming, yield farming on there. So guys, look, get in there, play around. It's there. You'll see just how amazing that testnet is, and the actual Pulse chain itself when it is released in 4 weeks, it's going to be amazing. We say 4 weeks.
Also we critically, do not assume that what you see, the actions and behaviors on that testnet, do not assume that is indicative at all of what will happen on the main net. That is a rookie mistake, because people do not act the same way with fake money as they would with real money. Like, imagine yourself, if you were in a video game and you were in a casino in the game, you would just go all in with every dollar that you have and see if you can just double that shit. Whereas in real life, you do not take your net wealth and just go all in. So it'll be vastly different on the main net. Just keep that in mind. Because I've seen people on Twitter being like, oh, look at this ratio or whatever. I'm like, meaningless. Absolutely meaningless.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So just
what about the argument though? What about the argument though that because we don't have any, it's about, because it's a ratio, and it's not about
still no.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, because it's just people will not behave the same way with fake money as they will with real money, And also you've got to remember, people have been smashing up faucets. So people could have just gone, smashed a faucet, and then gone and pumped the HEX price. Like, it's just
they're pumping completely... Pulse compared to Pulse X. That's what's interesting in a way. Like, if you look at this,
I would put literally zero weight into any shit that you're seeing on testnet. Is like
Fair
it's
enough.
completely fake. It's completely
Yeah,
fake.
ratio wise and price wise, I agree with that. So I would give that zero credence. All right, guys. Look, we've been on for a couple of hours. I want a massive shout out to the chat. You guys are awesome. I love each and every one of you, even the haters. We love you
had
as
a big
well.
turnout.
We're going to love you to death.
Numbers are up, so that's a sign.
So guys, uNrekt. What? Any last words, mate?
No, just be good to each other. Hope you're doing wonderful out there in the world. And if you're in HEX and you're staked, congratulations. I've got some youngsters into HEX this week, and they've staked, and so I felt good about that. And just be kind to each other, and have a good week, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in, and we're on multiple platforms on the Discourse Syndicate Network, so you can watch us on Twitch and wherever.
Yeah, last word, just the last image.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, be nice.
Breakdancing astronaut. Breakdancing
Looking forward to the
astronaut
pump.
right there.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to the pump.
Tangent.
I've actually got an outro.
Do you want to do some WWE like style call out of Richard right now?
No, not yet. Not yet. I've got an outro. I've got an outro this time. It's a saying that I've fallen in love with. We turn peace and gloves into peace and love. So peace and glove being like gun and glove, so that you don't get caught murdering haters. But instead of doing that shit, we do peace, PEACE.
Hey, we got Jakey Lund. Hey, well, speaking of the haters, we've got Jakey Lund and Mayo, and they are enforcers. And I'm hearing rumours that Jakey Lund's going to be getting back in the ring at the end of June. And
nice. Is it against the guy he called out? The guy he called out a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know. It's all just I just saw something on Insta. I don't know enough about it. I think Mayo's on break this week, so we might catch up with Mayo during the week and see how we're going there. But Jakey's definitely been training, and he's looking in really good shape, and he's keen, he's hungry. So
awesome.
So we've got some enforcers. So if anyone wants to hate on HEX, we'll sort you out. Put you don't get too smart. Hey.
All right. And on that note, guys, love yous all. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Ciao.